Hello, Jean Kropper here. In this session, we're going to start with the breathwork exercise, no drawing at the same time, just the breathwork, and a little Australian scenery with it. Then we're going to be doing some drawing of circular patterns on a grid, and I'll introduce that after we do the breathwork session. Enjoy. With the breathwork, we're going to be breathing in through the nose and then breathing out through the mouth. You might imagine breathing calm in and breathing tension or stress on the out breath. So breathing in slowly to the nose, breathing in, pause, and then breathing out. Breathing in through the nose, and then breathing out. And if any time you feel uncomfortable, go back to your natural breath. Okay, so breathing in, 1, 2, 3. And then breathing out with a sigh. Breathing in, 2, 3 through the nose. Breathing out with a sigh. Breathing in through the nose. And breathing out with a sigh. Breathing in through the nose and breathing out with a sigh. Breathing in through the nose, and breathing out with a sigh. Breathing in and breathing out. And breathing in. Just keep going with the breathing, and we'll just do this for a minute. Hello. I hope you're feeling more grounded and calm and a quieter brain after doing the breathwork session. Okay, next we're going to go into the drawing, and you may print out the last page of the worksheet as a template that has a grid on it, and the other option is you can fold the piece of paper and use the creases as the grid. So I'll show you that in just a minute. And as to markers, we're going to be just drawing in one dark colored marker. It might be black, it might be something else. And you might also add some colored circles behind your drawing in a pale color. Okay, what we're drawing today is we're going to work on a grid, just circular patterns within that grid. And you can follow the ones that I'm making, and you're welcome to make up your own. So you can use what I'm doing as inspiration and go off in another direction. That's just fine. And you can also just follow along. So these are all different sort of circular patterns. And I find that when I stick with something quite narrow, like just doing things that are circular, I come up with lots of inventive ideas I wouldn't have if I left it wide open to draw absolutely anything, because I find I start looking at details and seeing, what else could I do like that? What else could I do like that? What else could I do with this narrow something circular that fits in a square here? And I come up with new ideas that I wouldn't have otherwise. So that's why we're sort of limiting what we're doing. And you can these are also ones that I've played with that did some inks first and then drawings. So there's lots of different sort of directions that you can take this if you want. Okay, and I'm working with some pale markers drawing the circles here. In this case, I'm using a very pale tan and a very pale green. Now you can do that in all sorts of ways. Let's see, I've got a whole bunch of markers here. You can use a whole bunch of things in pale colors as a bit of a background shape, and that can give you a shape to sort of anchor your drawing. And I found it was particularly nice to sort of do it in a checkerboard sort of fashion and then leave some just plain, so there wasn't too much color, it wasn't overdone. but you can choose to do it the way you wanted to. So I, did it in sort of a checkerboard fashion. And so any pale color is just great, and it doesn't matter whether it's a solvent or water-based markers. One thing I have found is if I put a solvent-based marker underneath, and the ones that are solvent-based have a smell to them, so when you sniff them, you can tell that they're a solvent-based. Then I can draw on top of them with a water-based marker, and I will show you some of the water-based markers I've got. And they don't run, so it's kind of nice when you can draw madly away and not worry about it running, or the two sort of bleeding into each other. But you can, we're not really worrying about making any great art here. We're just having a play and looking at drawing to quiet down your brain. But that's sort of the art end of it. Okay, so on your worksheet, you've got a bunch of ideas for inspiration for what you can do. And I'm just going to slow down and draw some things in each of these grids to fill our 3x4, so our 12 images here, and just slowly draw some circular little patterns. Okay, so that's what we're doing today. And they can be in any order, doesn't matter what you're doing. Okay, and I might put another sheet of paper under this, so if it bleeds at all, then it's not going to bleed through. Okay, great. Okay, we can get started. So at this point, if you want to do any background colors, you can do that in whatever you like. And then we'll just dive in and start drawing in one color. And try to just limit how many colors you're working with, because that reduces the number of decisions you're making and allows your brain to start slowing down. Okay. So, all right, I will just play with this. Take your time. This is a time to just slow down. So we're just noticing details. So little things like, how much pressure am I putting on my marker? And if I push harder, do I get a fatter line? So little details. So this sort of trains you in mindfulness, but also lets you just get to know the tools that you're working with. Just noticing little details. Okay, now let's see, I realize I would like to do some of those circles, so I will. Good. All right. Yeah, so just in a mix of circles and a pale color, and then I'm just going to draw. spiraling inwards. And even if you're drawing exactly what I'm drawing, you'll have a slightly different style to it, and it will come out a little bit differently. And that's rather lovely, because then everybody's drawing really will be unique, even if you're following along and doing what I'm doing. That's rather interesting. Might keep going. And often there are some marks that you find very satisfying to make. Might be for no particular reason, and some marks you just don't resonate with. Just notice this. You may also choose that some marks or shapes might be symbols of a person, an idea, or a place. And as you work, just notice if there's any tension in your body. You might, if you've been working on a computer, you might notice that there's been tension in your shoulders, and just be aware of that. And you can sort of breathe into that part of your body, or imagine that. Then that might help release some of that tension. So just check in with your body once in a while and just see what's going on. And just by noticing allows you to focus on it and release. If we're plowing along busy in our days, often we don't even notice what's going on in our bodies, and it's really useful once in a while to just check in. Okay, so I'm just drawing some of the ones that I did before, but in no particular order. When I'm tense, I find it much harder to do nice, even curves like this. They often come out kind of jagged or irregular. And when I'm calm, when I'm focused and present, then I find it much easier. So don't think about judging yourself, because we're more about this, using drawing as a process to unwind, than worrying about the end result. So you can throw your drawing away at the end if you want to. But it's interesting to just notice the level of concentration or focus that you're able to have or not. So sometimes when I'm doing drawing, it's sort of a way of just taking my own emotional temperature to see what's going on with myself, because when I'm charging along and busy, I don't always really notice. And every once in a while, you can take some deep breaths, just let them out in a noisy sigh. And then just go back to your normal breathing. And also you can turn this around if you want to reach a particular corner or something. You can just turn it around so that you can reach that corner easily. And when your brain strays, just notice that. But just bring it back to the present for now. As you're just giving yourself this short amount of time. Just let your brain slow down and just relax. It's all right to be bored. Sometimes when we go from really busy and lots of things going on, taking in new information, and then we slow down, our brain is searching for being busy again. And it takes a certain discipline to sort of say, no, I'm just going to stay with what I'm drawing right now. And yes, my brain is struggling, and I'm impatient, and I'm a bit bored. Just bring it back to the small things that we're doing here. And just let yourself slow down. And that gives your brain some time to just integrate things that have happened during the day. Our stress levels drop a lot if we just give ourselves some time to be bored and to slow down and just to do simple things for a little while. And then later you can charge off and do all those busy things that you have to do. So I'm just noticing the black mark I'm making on the paper. And slowly building up a pattern and filling up a square. Just noticing what I've done and what I haven't done. And looking at and choosing what I want to do next. Take care to just sort of slow down and notice your lines. You could draw really quickly and just fill up all the squares, but but that's not our goal for today. We're trying to just slow down a little bit and take this time to just be mindful about what we're doing. Makes me think of old Venn diagrams. Okay, well, that's the first one. I wonder how your drawing went. All right, do another drawing. Remember that getting creative can be a powerful way to tap into an aliveness or an energy, a place of clarity when life events seem to have blown you off course. So you can take this time to just quiet down and play a bit. All right, what am I going to do this time? Let's see. Looking at this and sort of playing with possibilities. Oh, that's right. I do want to put some color in here. So I'm just drawing some circles with a very pale color to put behind the drawing I'm doing on top in black. You can do this or not, doesn't matter. I'm just doing it sort of a checkerboard fashion. I'm not going to use a lot of colors because I don't want it to be too busy. I want something that's really quite calm, because what I'm focusing on right now is calming myself down. So that's where I'm at right now. Okay. Yeah. And just go at your own pace. You don't need to draw at the same rate I am. You might not, doesn't matter. But just trust what's right for you. There's no competition here. It's really about just slowing down and allowing ourselves to take a little time out. And usually when we've been in school, we've done art to make a picture and to draw an object or to achieve a particular goal. And right now, what we're doing isn't really about the artwork at all. It's really about the process of giving our brain something to focus on, and that allows the rest of the world to just sort of fade to the background. So doing some drawing keeps us in the present and gives our brain something to do, so we can just quiet down and let busy thoughts back away. So just see if you can take this time to stay with drawing and making marks on paper. So you don't need any art training to make marks or to use creative processes to heal or to calm yourself. Anyone can learn to make things and just enjoy the rush of feeling of, yeah, I made this. So if you like what you're doing at the end, that's just great. And if you don't, that's just fine too. Just throw it out and you can do another drawing another time. It can be immensely freeing to just draw for the sake of it and not worry about the result. And if you've got a voice in your head of a mean art teacher or a parent, you can just sort of say, hey, I'm going to just turn that off for now. I'm not going to listen to that. Sometimes when I'm working in a circle, I'll do sort of some guidelines first, and then I can get the angles right. But again, don't worry about what you're drawing. It's just sort of giving our brain something to do. But I do find it satisfying to slowly build up a pattern. And in this case, we're just slowly working around this grid to fill in different patterns that we're making up as we go. And I'm not going to worry if things aren't quite centered. That's okay. There's something that's more alive about things not being quite perfect. And you can turn your paper around and work at it from different directions. This always makes me think of chemistry drawings with electrons swirling around a nucleus. There we go. Let's see. I know what I want to do. And some squares might be quite busy, and some squares might not have as much in them, and that's just fine too.
just check in with your stress level in your body. See if there's any tension or any pain anywhere. Just notice. You don't have to do anything about it. Sometimes I find I tense my shoulders and they're up near my ears, and I need to just pull them up to my ears and hold them for a minute and then just and let them go. Tense them up towards my ears and count to 5 and then let them go. So you might find parts of your body that need a bit of tensing, holding, and then releasing. That can help just shift some tension that's going on. Let's see. What else do I want to do? I want to do another version of that. Just have fun with making the same design again with just a few changes and just see how different it looks. These are quite similar, but this one's got open circles and this one's got circles filled in, so no grand difference, but kind of fun. Okay, and what else will I do? So they're all a little bit different. What else should I do? So I'm just staying with circular patterns. Lots and lots of ideas of things you can play with. And just by limiting your colors and limiting what kinds of marks you play with, I find I end up being much more inventive than if I could do anything at all. Just sort of giving myself a little assignment of something specific to focus on, and then the brain just plays with that and everything else fades away. This can help you lower your blood pressure and lower your cortisol levels. Just give yourself time to recharge. Yeah, okay. There we go. So these are all the different samples and the different things that I've played with. And you might work faster or slower than me. That just doesn't matter. That's just fine. But yeah, I'll show you each of the different pages so you can have a little look. Yours will be a bit different and a bit the same. And I'll be curious to see what each of you do. And the last one. So each a bit different and each a bit the same. Just by staying with the narrow limitation of some sort of design that's circular. Every single one of these is rather different, except these two are kind of related. So you can just play with all sorts of ideas and allow your brain to just slow down, calm down. Great, wonderful.
Thank you for joining me for this drawing session today. I hope you enjoyed it. I welcome your comments and look forward to seeing you again soon.